In this video, we're going to take a look at dealing with NTP, or sorry, NAT. NAT is going to be the topic of discussion in this video, and basically NAT, if everybody's favorite topic, if you ask me, the idea here is to provide. Well, there's a couple of variations of NAT. You have the NAT that is used to expand the internet capabilities, which basically means that you can do a thing called PAT, or port address translation, which basically would for internal users to be able to get out to the internet, you would NAT them from a public or a private IP address to a public IP address on random ports. So you'd be able to give several hundred users access to the internet from one public IP. So the idea and the benefit to that is, as we go through here, I'm going to start off with a inside to outside NAT, and then from there we'll go and set up the IP NAT pools. I'll show you how to do a static NAT, which is going from an external source to an internal source, and then I'll show you guys how to do it's a little more complicated and it requires a lot more configuration. That's why I'm going to leave it till the end. But basically you're going to be doing dynamic NAT with a range of pools, and so you're basically going to have a range of a public range versus an internal range, and you'll be able to NAT over to them. So, but one of the things that I've realized too about now, and I was testing this stuff out beforehand, was that even though the config will work, the like GNS3 won't let the traffic go through. I'm not sure if it's a bug or whatever, but so the first thing we're going to do is on router 7, we're going to go to interface Ethernet 1/0, type in IP NAT inside. Go to interface serial 2/0, type in IP NAT outside. Okay, we have that in place. Next thing to do would be to go here and type in access list, or IP access list, type in inside, or standard inside. And we're typing permit 10.1.100.0 0.0.0.255. Then we exit out here and we type in IP NAT inside source, and we're going to say list from inside, and we're going to say we're going to expand that out to the interface of serial 2/0, and we're going to overload it. Okay, so then what we do from here on 6 is, if we wanted to and drop out here and do a show IP route, we should have a default route. We're going to do we're going to ping 108.0.0.2, and we can ping. Now if we go back to router 7, type a show IP NAT translations, we have a ping going out, right? That's a good sign. We pinged from this address right here, going to this address, or going to this address. This is how we got there. So that's the general idea of how a inside to outside would work if you are trying to overload. Now if I wanted to go to 101 and do a show IP interface or show IP route, I can jump out of here and type in ping 108.0.0.2 also, and do go to 7 and type the up arrow, and now I have two going out. If I wanted to go to 2 and do a show IP route, I also have a default route. I'm going to do a trace route, or trace to 108.0.0.2.2. Well, actually, that won't work. Ping 108.0.0.2. That'll work. Let's go to 7. Hit the up arrow. Now we have you know what? That must have gone out the other way. But that's how it would work. We have the connections out. That's how you would get it situated. So now you saw how we had some of these other pools on here, where we can match a list of addresses we want to overload here and overload out there. The idea behind the dynamic NAT, not dynamic PAT, but dynamic NAT. The idea behind that is, if we were to consider a pool, if we were to go to global config and type in IP NAT, we would say type in an inside to outside translation. So we're going to say a source of list of inside, and say to a pool of and then we're going to say outside, and we were to say overload, Dynamic mapping in use. Oh, because we have the inside pool going. What we could do is we could actually take that config that we typed in here and type in no, and then what we could type in is we could say IP access list out or standard outside, and hit the enter key and type in permit 87.0.0.0 or 0.0.0.2, let's see, 28, that'd be 15. And what we get to do now is we get to type in IP nat inside source list inside to pool of outside overload. Now, if we were to jump down here and go to router 6 and do the same ping again, it's unreachable now. Yeah, see, it's kind of convoluted in the way you would do that. But basically the idea would be to not limit yourself to a single public IP address to NAT yourself to. You'd be able to NAT yourself to several outside addresses. And I might have configured that wrong. I might need to go to the extended access list, but the next one I'm going to show you is the most common one that people have to deal with is the one where you're doing the inside, the outside. That's the most common one you're going to get. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you guys how to do the external NAT to NAT. And I'm going to come up here and I'm going to say, we're going to type in IP NAT, and we have this option here of inside, or outside. Outside, source, no, global to local. Yeah, static. And we're going to say the outside global address is going to be 87.0.0.2. And we're going to say, I should say static is going to be TCP. And we're going to say the outside global address is going to be 87.0.0.2. And the inside, that port number will be 2300. And then the inside, the outside local IP, will be, or no wait, sorry, that's not right. IP NAT inside source list TCP, or source static TCP will be 87.0.0.2 on 2300, and then we're going to say the inside, or we're going to say the global inside local IP address is going to be 10.1.100.1. That is router 1's address, right? Show IP interface brief. Yes. 7.1 on 23 will be on the inside. Will be 87.0.0.2 on 23, and hit the enter button. So now, if we go to 8 and we telnet to 87.0.0.2 on 23.23, yeah, see, but we go back to 7 and show IP NAT translations, it shows up. So it's kind of funny in how it works. It's because 1 is set up for that. So it's, oh, see, that's the problem. Aha, see, that's that access came back to bite me in the butt. See how I have it set up for it denied it? So if we do a show access list, we have a deny on that statement. So we have to come up here and we have to go to line VTY 0 space 4 and type in no access class 1 in. And now we go back to 8, and now it's there. So we'll type in, a username is Rob, password is Cisco, and now we're on router 1. We were able to successfully telnet to router 1 because we pointed to the public IP address of this guy, of router 7, and the telnet was able to go through. So now if I go back to 7, and now we have an active connection. So that's a great sign. It's telling us that everything is working. So this line right here is telling us that this is a static mapping. This one right here is telling us that this is what we had dynamically originated. And now this is great for people that have multiple connections, and this is how you're able to specify on a single public IP address multiple connections. So normally what I would do is set this up and then have it configured so that if I have lots and lots of web servers in my DMZ, I can simply come in here and create a bunch of static NATs that are going to just NAT from the outside to the inside to a bunch of devices and be able to access that device as needed. So it gives you that flexibility. So that in a nutshell is NAT. The dynamic NAT, I really wouldn't I'd take a look at that, make sure you understand how it works. But the idea behind it is if you have this block of addressing here to this block of addressing here where it's a /24, the idea would be able to take this block here and be able to randomly choose an outside address to NAT2. And it's a pain in the butt if you don't get your configuration right, but that's just a general idea of how it would work. So I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.